Hello and welcome to another episode of Toon Talk. Today I'm going to go over my predicted lineup for the game against Liverpool and also look at some previous head-to-heads in this tie and see what chances we truly have against Liverpool. Let's get into it. Toon. So we've got a crunch tie coming up against Liverpool in the Premier League. First game back at St James's Park. Can't wait to see the guys in action, and obviously it's going to be a pretty feisty affair at St James's this time round, especially with what's going on with the Isak saga. We'll be looking to get into them, and the players will not need any motivation for this match, I'm pretty sure. So, with that in mind, I do personally think that Eddie Howe is a creature of habit sometimes. The lineup I've gone for in this game is the same one that started against Aston Villa. He doesn't like to change things very much. I know people will probably be thinking, well, why is he not playing Botman and he's not playing Chow? Well, he'll want to actually play the same team so they all get used to playing with each other, and also he goes with what he trusts, and that back line has got lots of experience. I mean, let's go through the entire team and obviously see what we think from the first game and obviously what they'll be like, hopefully, in the second game against Liverpool today. So we've got Nick Pope in net. I think he is going to stick with Nick Pope because he's his number one. Although Ramsdale might be pushing him, probably going to wait for the moment where Nick might make a mistake and then bring in Ramsdale. That way he'll pit them off against each other. That way. I don't think Nick Pope put a foot wrong. He got a clean sheet as well in the first game. For me, he starts in net again. But they're going to need his shot stopping ability anyway, because obviously Liverpool are a very good team. They're going to be at us just as much as we are them. Hopefully he's got his saving gloves on at the weekend. Then the back four, as I say, it's exactly the same, I think, that played against Aston Villa. You've got Livramento on the left, who hopefully is going to be keeping Mo Salah quiet. If he does any kind of a job he did in the Carabao Cup, then job's good as far as I'm concerned. Because let's face it, he kept him quiet the entire game. He's up against it, don't get me wrong, end of the day, Mo Salah is just won PFA Player of the Year, and with good reason. He's not always going to have an off day, but if you can keep him quiet in this game, I'm sure I'm the same as any Newcastle fan. We all got very, very high hopes for Livramento, and we all hold him in high regard. And again, I think he will do a good job on that left-hand side, and hopefully keep Mo Salah quiet throughout the game. Through the middle, we've got obviously Burn and Shah as a partnership. Tried and tested. They're both obviously very experienced defenders. Burn will be more than up for this. I'm sure Shah will as well. Again, they'll be very busy. Although Ekitike is an unknown quantity. Yes, he did score in his first game, and he does look quite potent. It's going to be one of them. They've got to set their mark on the game early and obviously get into him, let him know they're there. Because of their veteran status, they will not hesitate to let Ekitike know that you're in a game here. And hopefully they do that from the off. Don't get carried away. We don't want them getting booked early either. Hopefully they can trust in their experience. That will count for everything in this game, I do believe. Then going to right back, obviously I've picked Trippier again. I mean, you could argue that Hall should be on the left and Livramento should be on the right. But Trippier, even though he's 33, 34, still one of the best right backs in the league. As far as I'm concerned, he starts again. Played pretty well against Aston Villa. Yes, he wasn't crossing as many in the box as I would have liked, or didn't get forward as much as we would liked, and he's going to have to cope with Gakpo. Hopefully he can cope with him quite well. He's probably going to end up sitting in a lot more in this game. But Trippier, again, vastly experienced, and he should be able to cope with the pressure, and hopefully Elanga can help him out. Even though Elanga is going to be more advanced, hopefully, in the game. I wouldn't expect us to have much of the ball. That's the main problem. I think we're going to have less of the ball this game, whereas against Aston Villa we had majority of the possession. Then going to my midfield, it's the trusty three. So obviously I've got Tonali sat there in the middle. You can argue that Tonali is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League at the minute anyway. I fully expect him to be up for this. Doesn't need any motivation to play as well as he does. He just does a solid job, and his average is better than most midfielders in the Premier League anyway. I fully expect him to be mopping up, tidying up, and hopefully getting the ball forward to Bruno on the turn as fast as he can. And hopefully we'll see that in the game, because what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to be quick in our transitions. If we're going to have any open win this game, we've got to get that ball forward as quickly as we possibly can. and hope to basically get Liverpool on the break. And he's going to be our linchpin in there, who's going to be mopping up and getting that ball forward as quickly as he can. And he knows that, and I'm sure he'll be doing. We'll see that throughout the game. Joe Linton, who's going to be running the channel more than left, really, but he's going to be through the middle. He's probably going to be linking up more with Gordon. Again, he's someone who's probably going to have to rely on his defensive duties up and down. Obviously, I've seen a lot of things on social media that he's going to be gunning for the Liverpool players. I mean, hopefully he keeps his head. When he keeps his head and he's got a composed Joe Linton in the team, like the one in the Carabao Cup final, then we've got much chances as anybody, because on his day, we know he's one of the best midfielders as well in the league. Who would have thought that 3 years ago? Bruno, this game for me is one where we really see where Bruno is at in terms of his skill level and how he's progressing as a midfielder. Obviously, we hold him in high regard, and I'm no different. He's our captain, and he's the lifeblood of the team. He's going to be the one who's going to have to get those through balls to Gordon and out wide to Alanga, crossfield balls to Joe Linton and through to Barnes. Everything's sort of going to go through him in this game, and if we've got any chance of winning it, he needs to win his midfield battle. So he's going to be up against obviously McAllister. He got the better of him last time. We want to see more mature performances from Bruno. So hopefully we will see that, and his performance will result in him getting forward more and supplying Gordon with some through balls if possible, and even a few shots himself. That's what we want to see in this game, and hopefully, if we're not pinned back, we can start to see Bruno start to dictate that midfield if possible. And the front three are going to be the same as they were against Aston Villa. So we've obviously got Barnes on the left. I would like to see Barnes unleashing those deadly shots as much as he possibly can in this game. What could possibly win it for us in this game is one of those 25-yarders he's capable of. If we can see something like that from Barnes, where he's just having pot shots, because they've got every chance of going in. If I was Eddie, I'd be telling him to be cutting in on his right-hand side, going for goal as much as he possibly can. I would like Bruno to be feeding Gordon, and obviously that will be the aim for Barnes, but Gordon obviously is not an out-and-out striker. For Barnes to be on that left-hand side, drifting into the channels, but coming in on the right to take shots, hopefully we can see him testing the goalkeeper at least on a few occasions. Then we've got Gordon obviously through the middle as the main striker at the moment. He did okay against Aston Villa. He didn't score, but he did okay. He leads the line well. You can see it in his performance. He not for want of trying, chasing everything down. He was leading the press really, really well. Against Liverpool, I don't think he needs any motivation whatsoever. So he's going to be doing the same. Get some results from that. And what I mean is he can, nick a ball, in turn, hopefully nick a goal. You never know. Hopefully he can start learning that poacher's instinct. If we get some crosses in from Barnes and equally from Lallana from the right, he can nick a goal for us. That's what we really want to be doing in this game. Is we're probably going to try and nick a goal, and it's going to be as tight as that really. In the 3-4 players on the right, Alanga again. I mean, you could argue that Jacob Murphy should start in the game. The thing is with Murphy, he doesn't deserve to be on the bench. And from last season, if he's going to carry on the way he was from last season into this season, I feel really bad for him really, not starting at the moment. But again, I suppose Alanga's going to be that main guy on the right. If he does stick to the same team, which Eddie Howe does a lot, then he'll be our guy on the right. And we really, at home, we want to be crowd behind him, really pushing him forward, using his lightning speed to go past players and get them balls into the box much earlier. Not waiting, because he was quite hesitant. I mean, obviously, he was unlucky not to score himself at the weekend, and he had a few attempts that any other day he might have buried. But a bit more composure, he could have scored. At the same time, his job there is to be supplying Gordon. Those two have got lightning pace. What we will see, and hopefully we'll see, us on the counter-attack, through the right-hand channel, Alanga through to Gordon, and hopefully a goal. So that is my starting 11 for tomorrow, as I'm recording it on the Sunday. But for today, as you'll watch it on the video, if this team does go out, they do a job, and we can see a positive result for the Toon. Let's just flip over now and look at some heads against Liverpool, see where that sort of trend is leading towards and what the result might be. This is the head-to-head against Liverpool, and to be honest with you, it doesn't read very well at all at St James's Park, and especially not at Anfield. But let's go over what I've extracted from the stats that we have for this tie. So in the Premier League meetings, we have won 9, they have won 35, and we've drawn 12. That is throughout the history of our Premier League meetings. All 9 wins for Newcastle have been at St James's Park. Thank God we're at home tomorrow. That's all I can say. Because if this had been at Anfield, as results dictate, if you go off or believe anything when you look at results or past results, we've got next to no chance. What I will say is obviously Liverpool, or from the stats you can see there, that Liverpool have won 12 games at St James's Park. They're one of the few teams that we've got a really, really poor head-to-head against. When I say poor, this is what I class as the ultimate bogey team. They literally have won 3 times, nearly 4 times as many games against Newcastle, albeit 23 of those wins have been at Anfield. The last win for Newcastle in this fixture in the Premier League was 2015, December 2015. That is long overdue, if you ask me. There's not much you can read into that, really. It's nearly 10 years ago since we last beat Liverpool in the Premier League at home. In law of averages, we're probably due a win. However, it doesn't, again, bode very well for us, because prior to the cup win, Newcastle have failed to win in any match against Liverpool in 17 attempts. 17 times we have played Liverpool and not beat them. Nearly all of them are Premier League ties. Reading that, if you was a complete neutral, you would say that Liverpool have pretty much got this sewn up. It's very highly stacked against Newcastle to get a result, because we have such this poor record against Liverpool in previous meetings. However, we will be up for it tomorrow. We will be up for it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, as I've said about in the lineup, we might, nick a goal, and if we nick a goal, hopefully get a positive result from it. It's not beyond us. Obviously, the striker issue is a major issue at the moment. We've still got people who can score goals in our team, so hopefully we can nick a goal, maybe hold on to a lead. In terms of head-to-head, it's absolutely appalling, if I'm honest. So that sort of concludes my predicted lineup for the game and the head-to-head of previous meetings against Liverpool. All in all, staying positive with Newcastle, I think the best we can hope for, realistically, is a 1-1 draw or a draw. However, it would be nice to nick a win. It'll be a hard-fought game, don't get me wrong. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do lose the tie. If we lose the game, I don't think there's any shame in it, as long as we put a good showing in and we push them all the way. I'm predicting myself that we probably will, or hopefully will, draw the game. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. And thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.